Welcome to Capital Intelligence. In today's explainer, we're going to explore the absolutely fascinating biological and psychological drivers behind our financial choices. Have you ever wondered why we sometimes make terrible money decisions, even when we literally know better? Well, it turns out the answer isn't hiding in your spreadsheets. It is hardwired right into your biology.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap today. We'll be moving from the illusion of rationality and your brain on money to looking inside a trader's brain, hacking the fear center, mental money laundering, and finally mastering your financial mind.
Let's jump right in. Section 1. The illusion of rationality.
For decades, traditional finance models like the efficient market hypothesis have leaned heavily on this idea of Homo economicus. Basically, this is a hypothetical human who operates like a perfectly rational, totally unemotional calculating machine. It's all about mathematical utility. But reality is a whole lot messier. Our actual brains are deeply emotional, they're driven by unconscious biases, and we rely heavily on learned heuristics, mental shortcuts. We just aren't the mathematical robots that early economists really wanted us to be. Which brings us to Section 2, your brain on money. So, the real game changer here is a field called neurofinance. This is an incredible, emerging discipline that replaces the old illusion of total rationality with hard biological reality. By combining neuroscience, psychology, and economics, researchers are using actual brain imaging to see exactly how our neural mechanisms dictate our market behavior. It's not about guessing anymore. We are literally watching the brain process risk, reward, and uncertainty in real time.
So how does this play out for us in the real world? Well, everyday decisions, like choosing instant gratification or falling for a bad sales pitch, are often unconsciously driven by our brain's ancient reward pathways, like the dopamine system. When we blow our extra cash on a spontaneous purchase instead of investing it, that's just our brain screaming for a quick dopamine hit. Or think about when we compartmentalize our money into mental buckets to justify chasing credit card hotel rewards. It's essentially doing complex girl math or boy math to justify a vacation. We're using emotional logic, right? Not mathematical logic. Our biology is constantly overriding what's actually best for our long-term wealth.
All right, moving on to Section 3, inside the trader's brain. Now, this is wild. Look at these actual fMRI brain scans from a study published in the International Journal of Social Impact. Researchers put experienced Wall Street professionals into a simulated trading environment to see what neurologically happens when real money is on the line. And those glowing red areas, those highlight the exact neurobiological signatures of high-stakes financial decision-making.
Let's break down exactly what's happening in those circuits. First, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, or VMPFC, lights up to assess the subjective value of a trade. Next, the nucleus accumbens fires up. That's the part processing the uncertainty and the thrill. And finally, especially during lower risk evaluation, the DLPFC kicks in. Think of the DLPFC as the brain's executive control center. It steps in to apply rigorous analytical logic to the situation. It's this profound, split-second dance between deep, primal emotion and high-level cognition.
Next up, Section 4, hacking the fear center. So how on earth do these pros handle the visceral, stomach-dropping fear of losing millions of dollars? Well, through repeated exposure, these traders develop what's called amygdala dampening. The amygdala is essentially your brain's fire alarm. For the average person, risking massive amounts of money triggers a huge spike in activity there. We feel pure terror. But the scans show professional traders have physically adapted. Their brains literally reduce activation in this fear center during high-risk trades, letting them stay totally calm while the rest of us would be absolutely panicking. This biological override completely separates emotion from goal-directed reasoning. In fact, researchers describe this neural dampening as a cognitive, emotional decoupling. So they aren't just bravely ignoring their fear. No, their brains have literally rewired themselves to process volatile markets with clear, unemotional judgment. It's a truly incredible testament to neuroplasticity and how our daily environments can reshape our physical brain structure.
Let's transition over to Section 5, mental money laundering.
This brings us to a super provocative question about ethically questionable wealth. Does dirty money spend differently? Okay, traditional economic models dictate that money is fungible. That's just a fancy way of saying every single dollar is strictly interchangeable regardless of where it came from. From a purely mathematical perspective, a dollar earned volunteering is the exact same as a dollar found on the street or even a dollar gained through deceit. They spend the exact same way. But as we've established, the human brain isn't purely mathematical. Research from Carnegie Mellon actually reveals how we mentally launder dirty money to ease our guilt. Think about it. If you find a $20 bill on the sidewalk, you're probably going to blow it on a fancy coffee without a second thought. But a 20 you worked hard, grueling hours for, you save it. We subconsciously separate money we feel weird or guilty about from our clean money. We drive way more satisfaction, more utility, when our wealth is tied to ethical sources. So to cope, the brain pulls a psychological trick. It's a motivated violation of fungibility. We literally launder the money in our minds so it feels okay to spend. It's a stunning example of emotions totally overriding basic economics.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, Mastering Your Financial Mind.
So, zooming back out, what's the so what here for your personal portfolio? Well, by recognizing that you aren't perfectly rational, you can start building guardrails. You need to recognize when your ancient reward pathways are just chasing the dopamine hit of a fast trade. Acknowledge that gap between theoretical math and your emotional reality. And, just like the Wall Street pros, you can actively train your cognitive control. Create strict, non-negotiable investment rules for yourself before market volatility hits. Guard against unconscious biases like mental money laundering, and ensure every single dollar is put to work logically, not just emotionally. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder the next time you log into your brokerage account. Who is really managing your portfolio? Is it your carefully planned financial goals, or is it your ancient brain wiring? Are your decisions truly your own, or are they being quietly directed by neural pathways designed for a vastly different era of human history? Thanks so much for exploring the intersection of neuroscience and finance with me today in this explainer. Keep asking questions and stay focused.